Hello everyone, welcome to CSE Core Concepts in the series of computer networks. Today we are going to discuss a very important protocol called as the Carrier Sense Multiple Access Protocol. In my earlier video, we have discussed about the MAC layer, that is the Medium Access Control Sublayer, and we have discussed that why it is important what is so important about that layer. And for performing the channel sharing, we have already discussed about the Aloha and slotted Aloha. So I suggest you to go through the videos if you have not gone through, so that it will be easier for you to understand this protocol that is called as the Carrier Sense Multiple Access, that is CSMA. Now, this is a carrier sensing. So, if you have gone through my earlier video on the dynamic allocation, we have done certain assumptions. So, in that assumptions, one of the assumption was that either the channel has the carrier sensing capability or it does not have the carrier sensing capability. So Aloha and slotted Aloha were not using that capability, but now we will deal with the situations where we have the carrier sensing capability of the channel. So we can call that used in computer to manage how devices share a communication channel, and the core principle of CSMA is that listen before you talk, that before you send your data frame in the communication channel, you listen to the channel. If it is being utilized, then don't send. So let us see what are the steps involved in CSMA protocol. So first step is the channel sensing, that each device will first sense the channel before sending the data. So if it will check that the share medium, if any other device is currently transmitting a signal or not. The second step is that if it finds the channel to be idle, it will send the data. Okay, if the channel is clear, it will simply send its data. Otherwise, if it senses that the channel is being utilized, is in transmission of other signal, then it will wait. So it will wait for a period of time until the channel becomes free again. And it is vulnerable because it is still possible. See, it is possible that two stations have sensed that the channel is free and both of them start sending their data frames. So very much likely that it can cause a collision, that is, it is vulnerable. So there are different types of CSMA modes, in which mode you are going to use it. So mode basically defines the station's behavior, and it determines how aggressively the station is attempting to transmit. Okay, how much attempt it is making to transmit when the shared communication channel is busy. So let us start with the first mode, that is called as the one persistent CSMA mode. So it is basically a very aggressive transmission mode because it will sense the channel. If it finds it idle, it will immediately send the data with the probability of 1. But in case if it finds that the channel is busy, then it will keep on looking, keep on sensing the channel, waiting for it to become idle. And as soon as the channel becomes idle, it will immediately transmit. Okay, so this mode has the highest chance of collision when the network traffic is very high, because multiple stations might be waiting for the channel to become free, and they will release the data as soon as the channel becomes free. So it may lead to collisions. The another variation is the non-persistent CSMA, which is less aggressive, or you can call it as a non-greedy approach, and hence it is designed to reduce the collision. So here also the almost same approach for the idle situation, that if it finds the station idle channel to be idle, the station will transmit its frame. But in case if it finds it is busy, the station will not continue to sense it. Instead, it will wait for some random amount of time and then go and check again. So it will reduce the likelihood of collisions as compared to one persistent mode. But the other problem here is that it can lead to underutilization. Means you are waiting for a random amount of time, and meanwhile in that random amount of time the channel was left idle, and it is underutilization, that the channel is not being utilized, it is waiting or it is idle for a long amount of time. The next mode is the P persistent mode. So it is a combination, or you can say a compromise between the earlier two modes, that is the one persistent mode or the non-persistent mode. Where it happens here is that it uses slotted channels. So the time here is divided into some discrete slots. So if it finds the channel busy, it will wait until the next time slot. That means the time is discrete, not continuous. You cannot send at any time. Rather, whenever you want to send, you have to wait for the starting of a slot. So if it is idle, it will transmit with the probability of P. And with the probability of Q, that is 1 minus P, the station waits for the beginning of the next slot. Okay, and keep on checking the channel again. So this type of mode is generally used in a Wi-Fi system to balance the trade-off between the network efficiency and the collision risk. And the last mode is the O persistent CSMA, where it is very less common and basically it relies on a supervisory node. And the work of that supervisory node is to assign transmission order or a transmission number to each station. So basically it gives the transmission order and each stations are given a transmission number that will determine their order. So whenever a channel is idle, the station waits for its turn because everybody is given a sequence number, and based on that turn, they are going to start sending the frame. So it prevents collision entirely by ensuring a single transmission order. So multiple stations are not checking. They will have to wait for their turn, and this is as good as fine because there will be very fewer number of collisions, but it requires a central authority, that is an extra load on the network, that it requires a central authority to keep track of the transmission order, and this adds some complexity to the mode. Next, let us say further about CSMA. So CSMA has CSMA has two variations. One is collision detection, CSMA CD, which is called as CSMA CD. It is an enhancement of CSMA only, but the network protocol it manages on the Ethernet network. So basically, CSMA CD works in the Ethernet network, that is a LAN network. It is called as a very polite protocol. Polite protocol in the sense it will first listen before sending, and suppose if it found the channel to be free and it has started sending, and meanwhile if it detects some collision, it will stop transmitting. It's not like that even after the collision it will keep on sending the frames, right? It will stop there. So let us see the steps in CSMA CD. So first it begins by sensing the channel, if it is free or not, and if it finds it idle or free, it will immediately transmit the frame. And then it will wait and monitor basically to whether any collision has occurred or not, any signs of collision. So whenever there will be a collision, there will be a release of energy, so that every station will come to know. If a collision is detected, it is also detected if a device senses transmission from another device while it is also transmitting. Okay, so suppose I am transmitting, I have started transmitting, and meanwhile I can understand the collision, maybe by some other friends of some other station, then I will immediately stop. Okay, so collision is generally noticed as an abnormal high voltage level. So if they find the abnormal high level of voltage, they will understand that there is a collision. So in case of detecting a collision, the device will immediately stop transmitting. I had told you earlier also, it is not one value or one bit that it will be sent. It is a continuous frame, continuous bits of binary digits, right? It is the frame. So it is not one bit that it will be sent immediately. So it will go in a sequence, right? The whole bits. So it is not like that it has reached. So if it senses the collision, it will stop its own transmission and it will send a jam signal. Jam signal so as to ensure that all other devices in the network are also aware of the collision, and they will also discard the corrupted data and stop sending further frames, right? So this is very helpful. And then it will execute the back-off algorithm. Back-off algorithm means the back of time. It will wait for a random amount of time before attempting to retransmit the data. So let us see one example. So let us consider a computer A and computer B. They are connected to the same shared network, okay, on a Ethernet, that is LAN. So initially both the computers are idle and no data is being transmitted on the network. Now let's say computer A wants to send some data. So it has a frame ready in transmit. It is performing a carrier sensing, that is it is trying to listen to the network to see whether it is free or not. And finding if it is idle, it will start transmitting the data. A second computer transmits, okay, almost simultaneously before computer A's signal has time to reach the other side of the network. Computer B also senses the network, right? Computer A and B almost simultaneously they have sensed it. Since it too finds the network idle, because A has found it idle and before it starts transmitting, meanwhile B has also found it idle, so it has also started transmitting, right? So its own data frame. Now A has started, B has started, so obviously there will be collisions, okay, they will meet somewhere and there will be a collision. So two electrical signals will collide. Now, because of the collision, there will be an unusual voltage level in the network cable, and both A and B understood. A has just sent, B has just released, and they understood now the collision has occurred. So, immediately they will stop transmitting and they will send a jam signal. So, jam signal onto the network to ensure that other devices also are aware of the collision and they will discard the corrupted data. And of course they will wait for some back off period. So let's say computer A might wait for some 20 milliseconds and computer B might wait for some 50 milliseconds, and computers A's shorter random wait expires first. It senses the channel again. So back off time for A is 20 milliseconds. So A will again sense the channel after 20 milliseconds. It finds it free. It will successfully retransmit, and after a delay computer B's wait time, that is 50 milliseconds, expires and it will sense it is now idle because meanwhile A has finished sending its frame, right? And it transmits its frame as well. So this is how your collision detection can occur. So CSMA CD, this is a variation of your CSMA protocol, and basically it is used in your LAN cables or the Ethernet network. Another variation of CSMA is the CSMA CA, that is called as collision avoidance. So it is basically used for the wireless networks. So it prevents collisions from happening in the first place because detection of collision in a wireless network is very difficult. See, what happens basically in a wired network, if a collision has occurred, I told you that there will be an unusual increase in the voltage level. Okay, so every station or that voltage almost doubles, right? So every station who are connected using a cable, they can sense the collision, right? But in the wireless network, the energy transmission, because it is wireless, only 5 to 10% signal increase occurs, and 5 to 10% can occur because of any other reason like noise or a crosstalk or anything. So it is very difficult to understand that it is a collision, and so we cannot use CSMA CD in case of wireless networks. So we have to go for another approach, that is CSMA CA. So let us understand it using an example. So let us say I have a Wi-Fi network at my home and I have several devices. Let's say I have a laptop, I have a smartphone, I have a tablet, and all are connected to the same wireless access point, one Wi-Fi connection, right? Now CSMA CA manages the channel when the laptop wants to send the data. So I am working on my laptop, so I want to send the data. So it senses the medium. So laptop has a data frame is ready. The laptop created the data. So it will first perform a physical carrier sense by listening to the Wi-Fi frequency to see if the device is currently transmitting. So it will check the Wi-Fi frequency that any other device is currently using or not. So if it finds the channel is free, the laptop will not transmit immediately. Okay, because it might have happened that other device like smartphone or tablet might also have found the channel free. and they will also start transmitting, right? So a collision will occur. So here in this case, it won't transmit immediately. Instead, it will wait for a short specific duration, and this time is called as the interframe space, IFS. So this gives a priority to a certain type of traffic. So if there is a high priority device, it will give priority to that device, right? Now then, even after the IFS, there is a chance both of them has waited for that IFS time, interframe space. Now again both of them have started, so they have sensed the channel idle, wait for some time, and again they have sent. So to prevent the collision, the laptop then initiates a random backoff timer. Interframe space time is there. After that also, if both of them start sending again, after that interframe space, again collision can happen. So again after that time, again they are going to wait for a random backoff timer. So it waits for the timer countdown to come to 0 before attempting to transmit. Let's say the timer started from 10. So 10, 9, 8, 7, and like that, when it touches 0, it will transmit. And then it will request to send a RTS or CTS handshake. This is optional. So if you have a very large data packet or very busy environment, the laptop might use a RTS or a CTS mechanism. So what is it basically? It is request to send or clear to send. So laptop will send a short RTS frame saying that please I want to send. Okay, because if a large frame gets destroyed, damaged, again you have to resend it, right? So it will send a handshaking signal. This is optional. So it will send it to the wireless access point, AP, right? Telling the requesting a permission that I want to use the network channel, right? So any other device that hears the RTS will pause its transmission. So other devices are connected to the same network, right? So they will, when they will hear this RTS signal, they will understand that some channel, some device is trying to attempt to use that network or the channel, right? So in that case, AP will send a CTS frame, that is clear. Clear means clear to send, means the channel is clear. You are granted the permission to the laptop, you can send. So any device that hears the CTS will also delay the transmission. So basically RTS and CTS are a broadcast type of a message which is telling other stations that somebody is trying to attempt to use the channel. So don't send right now. So this is how you can avoid the collision. And then transmit and wait for the acknowledgement. So the laptop will now transmit its data frame and it will immediately get an acknowledgement. So if the laptop does not receive an acknowledgement, on the other end, if there has been some problem, it assumes that the transmission might have failed because either due to collision or due to interference, and it will start the backoff process again. So in that case, the random backoff time will double. Okay, so it will increase exponentially. So in the second attempt, the backoff time will increase. If again there is a collision in the third attempt, again the backoff time will increase. So it will increase exponentially with the number of retransmission attempts. So I hope you understood this CSMA protocol with its two variation, CSMA CD and CSMA CA. In case you understood it, please do press the like button and don't forget to share and subscribe to CSE Core Concepts. Thank you.